Hey, I just wanted to talk to you guys today about doing whatever feels best to you when it comes to rescheduling your wedding. So there's a lot of opinions out there about what you should do, what you shouldn't do, when you should do it, why you should do it, all that sort of stuff. And the important thing to remember is that we're all different and we all have different opinions, we all have different experiences, we all have different circumstances. And so when you allow the opinions of others to start creeping in on what you think you need to do, it can get a little cloudy. So the one thing that you have to remember when you are trying to figure out what to do is to check in with yourself. Check in with yourself, check in with your fiance, and um, really feel what you need. Because, like I said, when you're taking on what other people think that you should do, you're taking on their opinions from their experiences, which is totally different from yours. You just want to let that go, because even if they're coming from a really friendly, loving place, they're not you. And they don't know you as well as you know you. So even if they're, speaking on something they think you should do and they think it's in your best interest, even if it's a parent or a grandparent, somebody who thinks they know better because they're older or wiser or more experienced, they're not you. And so you need to be able to let their opinions go by the wayside and really come together with just your fiance on this, and to think about what you guys want. And I mean, it's important to keep safety in mind right now with the way things are. But the other thing is that even with the protocols, the regulations, there could be reasons why you maybe need to have your wedding now. I saw a bride in a Facebook group yesterday who was just really upset because she shared in a different Facebook group that she was in that she was planning on having her wedding this year because her father has cancer and they don't know how much time he has left. So since they were going to get married this year anyway, they decided to go ahead and do it with a very, very small group of people, and she got verbally attacked in this Facebook group. They felt like they knew better than her. They told her that she was a terrible person putting people's safety at risk. And it was just a really unsavory situation. And so it was difficult for her to move forward and stand in her own power when she felt like she was being attacked and being called selfish. And it's really not okay to impose your opinions like that on other people when you don't know what their experiences are. I mean, certainly you would think that having a parent who is dying would be enough of a reason to go ahead and get married so that they can be present for it, because you want to look back and think, okay, did I do my best? And when I do look back on this situation, how am I going to feel about it? And I would think that someone in that situation, especially someone who has a parent who has a terminal illness, would be very grateful that they decided to go ahead and get married so that that person could be there for it. And there could be other reasons, though, why you might be super grateful that you didn't do it, but it's all up to you and your fiance. So where other people are coming from is not where you're coming from a lot of the times. So a lot of times when you're feeling overwhelmed, you have people coming at you with their opinions and you just don't know what to do. Something that you can do quickly is just put your hand on your chest and take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes if you need to. If you can be alone for a minute or two, that would be great. And just ask yourself what you should do. And the first few times you do this, you may not get a definitive answer, but the more you practice, the louder that voice is going to be. And it's the voice of your intuition, it's the voice of your heart telling you what's right. And another way to get there is just ask yourself, what feels the best to me? I've seen so many brides that are asking, should we do a Zoom wedding? Should we do a micro wedding? Should we postpone the entire thing and wait until 2021 or beyond? And I will just ask them, when you take a step back and think about all of the options that you have, which one feels best to you guys? And they have an answer. And if they don't have an answer, if they say, I don't know, and then you can ask, if you did know, what would your answer be? And then they have an answer. So it's a little bit different when you're asking yourself these questions, but you do know the answer. And you may just have to get a little quiet and let the answer come to you, but it's in there. So you can give those things a try. Another thing to, as far as letting go of other people's opinions is to, I think this phrase is so funny, just stop shitting on yourself. Stop worrying about what other people think that you should do. Stop worrying about what you think that you should do. If there's ever a time when you're thinking, oh, I should do this, I should do that, or so-and-so says I should do this, or we should do that, you are acting from a place of other people's opinions being more important than your own. And so if you want to release that, anytime you catch yourself saying, I should, we should, they said we should, anything that involves should, take a step back and examine where that's coming from. Who said that you should do X, Y, Z, and who said that you have to do it their way? And when you remove yourself or stop shitting on yourself, you'll see that a lot of times what you want and what you feel like you should do are not in line with each other. But it's what you want that is what you really want to go after. Because when you do things that you feel like you should do, a lot of times, if it's not there initially, resentment comes up and blame comes up. So if you do something, if you plan your wedding or have the type of wedding that you feel like you should have right now, years later, when you look back, you're going to say, man, I wish I hadn't done what they said I should do. I wish I would have done what I wanted to do. So just think about your future self and how your future self is going to feel about the decisions that you're making now. And you want your future self to be happy about the way that you chose to do things now. And you want to honor yourself and your desires and your wants, because when we have these desires and wants, they're not just random, they're a part of us. So whatever feels the best to you and your fiance is what you need to go towards. And if it's a big giant wedding that you guys want to have, well, then right now it's going to have to be postponed, pushed off. If you have always wanted to have a tiny wedding anyway, just do it. If a Zoom virtual wedding feels most comfortable to you, do that. Whatever feels the best to you, when you put your hand on your chest and ask yourself, what do you want? You'll get an answer. And that's the most important thing. The most important thing is recognizing and honoring what you want and what your future spouse wants, because this is just the beginning, and you don't want to start off your relationship doing what other people say that you should do. So you might as well take this opportunity to focus on what you want as a couple, come together, have conversations about it, and figure out what you want to do. And from there, it gets a lot easier. Even if you have to set some boundaries or release some emotions on it, once you are in the practice of moving in the direction of what you want versus what others want for you, it's going to feel better and better and better. So let me know how that goes for you, and I will talk to you soon.